What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 16 of the Ohio Sports Radio Show. It is Jared, Ian, and Alex back again, ready to talk some Ohio sports with you guys. We have been away for what seems like an eternity. 1 month off, finally back, excited, and we're ready to talk some Ohio sports with you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. For those of you who may be new to our show, we start each episode off with our best and worst of this past week. We have a long time to cover, so let's keep it to this past week just to shorten it up. Alex, best and worst of this past week, brother.
Best of this past week, Premier League started back up. Manchester United sitting up top with your city and a couple other people. Early in the season, but still, Premier League back. Can't get any better. My worst, Bengals injuries in preseason. Defensive tackle Billingsley with his meniscus. Jackson with his pec, and LaFell. Thankfully, LaFell should be back, hopefully, but still, any injury in preseason is terrible.
I agree. Totally could be my best and worst as well. Ian, best and worst.
Best for me has got to be the Friday night turned in by Michael Lorenzen. Just a few days after the passing of his father. Friday night was the night that the Reds brought Lorenzen off the bereavement list. Comes out with 2 men on base, brought in to pitch, gets out of that jam, then promptly comes up and clubs his first major league home run. 3-run shot off of Dodgers reliever Baez into right field as he's running around the bases. Just an electric moment in Cincinnati, emotional moment if you're watching. The fans gave him the curtain call. He came out just absolutely great. My worst of the week, this whole Ryan Lochte situation. It's just a bizarre, strange thing that's going on. We don't know if he got robbed, don't know what's going on. Just really weird.
Yeah, I'm kind of Team Lochte on this, and I'll get to it later when we talk about the Olympics. But my best and worst, my best, I agree with Alex, the Premier League being back. As you know, I'm a huge soccer fan. Love it. Also, the NFL being back. So I love baseball, but when we get a time where there's more sports on than just baseball, it's amazing. So those two being back is great. Also, our podcast being back after a long month off. I'm glad to be back talking sports with you idiots. Worst of the week, I'm still battling a cold. For anyone who may be watching right now, you will see me blow my nose. I guarantee it multiple times. If you can hear me, it's terrible. I'm still battling it, total noodle, running without sleep. But I don't make excuses. I just make things happen. So that's my best and worst, man. It feels good to be back. I'll tell you that. But this head cold is a fucking nightmare right now. So already 3 minutes in, already dropped an F-bomb. Feels damn good to be back. Moving on, we usually do a top 5 now. If you're on Twitter, you may have seen that over this past week, Twitter did a hashtag. It was hashtag Fave7Films. So we're actually going to bump our top 5 up this week to actually a top 7, and we're going to do our top hashtag Fave7 movies, because if you say films, you're an asshole. So, Alex, let's start with number 7. We'll go to Ian, me, if you remember. Hashtag Fave7 movies. Number 7 for you, Alex.
Hashtag number 7 for me, Major
Don't
Payne.
say hold on. No hashtag number 7 for me every time. Just number 7. All right, number 7 for you.
Number 7, Major Payne. Classic movie. Anytime it's on, if I catch it and I'm flipping through the channels, I'm watching it. I grew up watching that movie over and over. My mom and dad would get so pissed off at me because I'd quote that movie so much. Just a great film.
Ian?
Number 7 for me, the first installment of the Saw movies. Looking back at it now, terrible acting in that movie, but just the premise of it, something that could actually happen. The killer was just psychotic in that, and it's kind of worn out its welcome. I think they're planning on another Saw film in 2017, from what I read, and it's called Saw Legacy. So I believe that's like number 14 or 15 in the series.
Yeah, spoiler alert, the killer's laying in the middle of the floor. So the killer also looks like Greg Popovich, which is really crazy in that movie. And those movies, like Fast and the Furious, have also worn out their welcome with me. But the first one was pretty good. Number 7 for me on my list of hashtag Fave7 movies, Almost Famous. I love that movie. The soundtrack of the movie is phenomenal. I would have loved to have been a journalist covering my favorite band growing up and seeing how crazy they are. That's just a fucking awesome movie. So number 7 for me is Almost Famous. Moving on, Alex, number 6 on your list of hashtag Fave 7 movies.
Number 6, Grandma's Boy. I laugh my ass off every time I see that movie. I can quote most of that movie. Starts off, the starting of it is the best start of any movie. Fuck, stop hitting me. They're playing the boxing game. Just a great movie.
Absolutely agreed. I forgot about that one. It could have made my list as well, but it's a phenomenal movie. Ian, number 6 for you on your list.
Number 6 for me, I'm going the first of 2 baseball movies on my list. Number 6 for me is Field of Dreams.
Asshole alert.
If you build it, they will come. So, Kevin Costner just does an absolutely great job. James Earl Jones, scary as hell in that movie, especially when he comes out in the middle of the road as Costner's turning the van around in the middle of the road, picking him up. They go to Fenway Park. He builds the baseball field and his farm. Just an excellent movie all around.
I agree. I love that movie. Number 6 for me on my list of hashtag Fave 7 movies, Forrest Gump. Classic movie. How he pretty much changed the course of history with so many things, or how he had a hand in it was so funny. Great movie. Overcame a lot. Just classic. So quotable. Absolutely great movie. Moving on. Number 5, Alex, for you on your list of hashtag Fave 7 movies.
Number 5, Boondock Saints. The original one, not the remake. The remake I didn't think was that bad, but not top list for anything worthy. But great movie. The 2 brothers going through, killing everybody. Made everybody want to get that tattoo on your hand.
Yeah, it made everybody want to start wearing a rosary necklace as well. If you didn't see this in junior high, you were a piece of shit. So, yeah. Absolutely great movie. Ian, number 5 for you on your list of hashtag Fave 7 movies.
Movies. Number 5 for me, the second baseball movie on my list, coming in with The Natural. Love Robert Redford's performance in that. The Wonder Boy baseball bat, the story of a young promising prospect and then gets shot and then, he's just out of the game forever and he comes back as an old man and still kills it. So The Natural comes in number 5 for me.
2 baseball movies back to back, pretty high on your list, Ian. So what does that say about your love of baseball? You don't have it in high regards, I guess. But moving on, number 5 for me on my list of hashtag Fave 7 movies, Back to the Future, the whole franchise. Number 1, number 2 are really good. Third one's all right. I love Back to the Future. I mean, those are really fucking great movies, and a lot of people don't give them enough credit. Number 2 is awesome. So yeah, Back to the Future for me is on there. Really fucking weird, though, side note, that no one ever spoke up that Marty was hanging out with, like, an old man all the time, and that they never, like, said how they met. He just, like, started hanging out with a creepy old man. It's really fucking weird. Like, you think Marty's parents would be like, "Where are you going, Marty?" He's like, doesn't say anything. But, yeah, it's really weird. Great movies, though. Number 4, moving on, Alex. Number 4 for you on your list of hashtag Fave 7 movies.
Number 4, Shawshank Redemption. I'm pretty sure this one's on everybody's list. This movie kind of made me want to go to prison and try to break out. It's such a great movie. Red steals the movie from everybody. The part in fucking quit laughing, Jared. But yeah. Shit.
Yeah, really fucking great movie. It really is.
It's organic for you.
Yeah, really, really great movie. It'll show up later on my list, and I'm sure Ian's as well. So, moving on, I left you hanging out to dry there. I was blowing my nose, and I just left him hanging there. I did that on purpose, though. But all right, moving on. Ian, number 4 for you on your. We're on 4, right?
Yep.
All right, number 4 for you on your list of hashtag Fave 7 movies.
Number 4 for me, the story of Michael McDermott and his ability at the poker table. I'm going with Rounders here. Matt Damon, Ed Norton, fantastic movie. Got me into playing the game of poker. Probably a bad habit because I've lost more money than I've won, but just an absolutely terrific movie. Watch it at least 2-3 times a month when I'm trying to get ready to go play poker. It gets me in the mood for it. So, yep, number 4 for me, Rounders.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. Number 4 for me on my list is Old School. Classic, pretty short movie, gets in, gets out, super funny. Cast is phenomenal. That was kind of at the peak of Vince Vaughn's like awesomeness. So, yeah, Will Ferrell's fantastic in it. The whole movie's just great. Love the whole concept of it. It's funny as fuck. So, Old School comes in at number 4 for me on my list of top or hashtag Fave 7 movies. This is the dumbest thing we've ever done. Moving on, number 3, Alex, on your list of hashtag Fave 7 movies.
Number 3 for me, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Every time I watch this movie, I always thought of different ways I could skip out of school, and I didn't live close to downtown Chicago and have the day out like they did, but always a dream to skip school and pull a day just like Ferris did.
Yeah, absolutely great movie. Ian, number 3 for you on your list.
Number 3 for me, Ed Norton's best performance. Derek Vineyard, former skinhead, reformed American History X, number 3 for me. Just an absolutely terrific movie. I try to catch it every time it's on. It's one of those movies that I can just pick up and watch at any point of it if it's on TV. The only bad part about that is they cut so much of it out on TV.
Yeah, and no wonder why. It's fucking crazy. But great movie. Number 3 for me on my list. Could be higher. I gave the nod to number 2 simply because it's just a legendary movie. But number 3 for me on my list, Home Alone 1 and 2, phenomenal. Month of December, I think I watch it maybe twice a day, every day. The best fucking movies ever. Kevin McAllister, I would take him over a lot of like action heroes. Like if you gave Kevin enough time to prep, I'd take him over Batman if you gave Kevin enough time to prep. He's the fucking best. So Home Alone for me on my list, coming in at number 3. This is a fucking battle. If anybody's watching me right now, eyes watering, nose running, this is just absolute noodle. I'm putting in absolute flu game right now, so I'm struggling. You may be able to hear it on the other end. So, anyways, moving on. Number 2, Alex, on your list of hashtag Fave 7 films.
Number 2 for me is actually 3 movies. It's the original Star Wars saga, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I don't care if you're a fucking comic book nerd, sci-fi loser, whatever you want to call it. If you don't like Star Wars, if you don't like the original 3, I have no use for you in this world. I mean, everybody likes at least one of those 3 movies, and I've got both my kids loving Star Wars already. I got Stormtrooper tattooed on me. Big part of my life.
Yeah, those movies are fucking awesome. I love all the Star Wars movies. Ian, number 2 for you on your list of hashtag Fave 7 movies.
Number 2 for me has perhaps one of the greatest villains in all of movie history. Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs, number 2 for me. Just an excellent movie all around. The first time I ever saw this movie, I want to say it was like my 10th birthday, and I was mortified. But, yeah, great movie. Another one of those movies that whenever it's on TV, I can pick it up from whenever it starts. Just absolutely great. I liked Hannibal. Wasn't a big fan of the whole Red Dragon thing, but Silence of the Lambs, number 2 for me on my list.
Yeah, great movie. All right, number 2 for me on my list, I went with Shawshank Redemption simply because anytime it's on TV, I have to watch it. I mean, it's so good. Like Alex said, it made you want to try to break out of jail. It's so good. It's such an awesome movie all around. It's filmed in Ohio, too, by the way, so shout out to Shawshank for hooking us up there. Yeah, but number 2 for me on my list, Shawshank Redemption. Finally, we're almost done with this stupid shit. Alex, number 1 for you on your list of hashtag Fave 7 movies.
Number 1 for me, Fight Club, which is also my favorite book. Chuck Palahniuk, however the fuck you pronounce his last name, when he wrote it, I mean, them turning it into the film, Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, I mean, the first time I watched it, the first time anybody watches it, no one fucking understands it. You read the book, you have to read it a couple times to understand it. Just such a mind fuck of a movie and a book. It's hands down my favorite movie.
Look at this guy, Ian, overachiever over here, reading a book
Right?
multiple times.
I had
Ian,
to in
what's
high
number?
school.
Yeah, I'm sure. Ian, what's number one for you on your list of hashtag Fave 7 movies?
When I was a young boy, growing up in Shawshank, I met several friends, one of them being Andy Dufresne. Yeah, that was my Morgan Freeman impression with some music company to it. Number one for me, Shawshank Redemption. Love the movie. Like Jared said, whenever it's on TV, you got to watch it. And, it's one of those movies that's 3 hours long, but it feels, just so much happens and it just moves along so perfectly. It feels like it's done within an hour, but brilliant Andy Dufresne story. Red, like Alex mentioned, Red makes the movie. Great movie all around. That comes in number one for me, Shawshank Redemption.
Ian, do you mind playing that for me one more time?
I'm trying.
That's enough of that, Ian. That's enough of that. We let that go long enough. Well, since Ian had to try to show me up there by playing Shawshank,
I knew
my
that's what
number
you were doing.
yeah, oh yeah, my number one on my list of hashtag Fave 7 movies, hit the fucking music. Well, maybe. All right, let's try that again. My number one on my list of hashtag Fave 7 movies, hit the fucking music. Yeah, that's right. That was Born in the USA simply because my number one movie is D2 Mighty Ducks, the greatest story ever written on film. Emilio Estevez leads the United States ragtag group of athletes, brings them all together all across the country, leads them to a Junior Goodwill game, gold medal, the fucking greatest movie ever written. D2 Mighty Ducks. You can't top it. It's better than Shawshank. It's better than everything else. D2
Quack.
fucking Mighty Ducks.
Quack.
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 Quack. Quack.
Quack. That's right. Ducks fly together. So D2 Mighty Ducks comes in at number one for me. Seriously, it's my all-time favorite movie. Anytime it's on, I absolutely love it. Gordon Bombay should be. I would let Gordon Bombay be the coach of any one of my teams. If you want to bring him in to be the Bengals coach, absolutely. So, Gordon Bombay, hit the fucking music again. Can't wait to get sued by Bruce Springsteen's team after this show, so that's going to be awesome. But
I
yeah,
love the
that's our
Marshall
list.
Tucker Band.
Yeah. So, whatever. That's our list of hashtag Fave 7 movies. You can chime in as well. Tweet them at Ohio Sports Radio. Tweet us your 7 favorite movies. Just use hashtag Fave 7 movies, hashtag OSR. Just tweet them at us. Let's see what you think. Let's move on. So, pretty much the thing that's been going on for the past 2 weeks, it's all that's on TV is the Olympics. Tons of awesome shit. The Olympics are fantastic, by the way. The build-up to the Olympics are great because there's always some fucking stupid shit that goes on. Zika, crazy. Dead bodies washing up, crazy. Like that's what you get. That's par for the course when you're in a third world country. That's just it. That shit happens. It happens every year. It happened in Russia. It happened in London leading up to it. It happened. London's not a third world country. I'm not saying that, but it happens in every country leading up to it. There's always some controversy. But the Olympics have been electric. Swimming felt like it went on for a really fucking long time, did it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian?
It did, but it was fantastic because we absolutely dominated it.
Well, we dominate everything. That's just our thing. We have so many purebred athletes. It's insane. And you got the greatest Olympian ever, Michael Phelps in the pool. Katie Ledecky's on her way to being like that. She's phenomenal. Gymnastics absolutely dominated Simone Biles. Basketball, nobody ever stands a chance against us in basketball. Sucked that our USA women's soccer team didn't win a medal. That fucking sucked. The one thing that irks me with the Olympics, besides the fact that when the 2 weeks hits, it's like that's why the Olympics are 4 years apart. It's because after 2 weeks of nonstop Olympics, you're like, I need 4 years of break to before I want to watch this shit again. One thing that irked me with the Olympics though this year is they were on like 5 channels, if not more. Why the fuck is tennis on one whole channel? Nobody wants to watch tennis in the Olympics. We can watch it any other time. Nobody wants to watch golf in the Olympics. We can watch it any other time. Give me fencing. Give me handball. Give me rugby, ping pong, badminton. Shit we don't get on TV. Like, we can watch basketball anytime. We can watch soccer anytime. You know, give us the stuff that judo. Let me see shit like that. Like, let me see shit that I don't normally see on TV. I don't know if you guys feel the same way about that.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. I want more women's beach volleyball. Put that on every channel.
That's what I'm saying. Indoor volleyball too, by the way, is awesome. Both men and women.
Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, we need more sports that aren't on TV. Ian?
It was a drag because, I mean, you had to hit the guide and see what every listing was to find what event you wanted to watch. And also with NBC, some of their coverage, like the actual NBC channel itself, it was Al Michaels talking for 5 hours and then 1 hour of coverage. So,
it was really weird, man. Like, one thing that also bothered me is sometimes you'd be watching it and say live, and then they would slip one in there that wasn't live. That just drove me nuts. Like, I felt like the swimming was the only thing that was live, and the track and field was the only thing that was live. And by the way, track and field, what the fuck is steeplechase? I know what it is. It's so fucking stupid. Like, you jump over and you jump into a puddle. That's inconvenient as fuck. Who would want to do that?
Hey, we took fucking silver in that.
I know, but like, it's the swimming drove me nuts. Like, it was just too much. That Chadwick Close dude or whatever, you don't swing at the king unless you come out and beat him. You know what I mean? Like, you don't poke the bear. He did that with Michael Phelps. The whole Olympics, it wore on me, man. It's like I am physically drained. My mind is just drained. I need the Olympics to be over. I think the closing ceremonies are tonight, right?
Yeah, you're right with that.
Okay. Well, we're recording this on Sunday, so the closing ceremony. I have no desire to watch those. The opening ceremonies was the longest 4 hours of my life. I literally watched almost 3.5 hours of it. I was just to get to the USA, and then when they came out, I was like, I don't care anymore. Yeah, I mean, what did you guys think of the Olympics? I mean, overall, in general, how do you think Brazil did? One at a time is cool.
As a host country, how'd Brazil do? Or
yeah, sure. Yeah, as a host country.
I mean, I don't think they did that bad. Everybody was bitching about the living conditions and all that shit. Whatever. I mean, they're gonna have all their stuff catered to them anyways. And it wasn't that bad. Although they did drop the shit out of the torch. So I guess they fucked up there.
Pretty crazy. I actually heard that the room, it was Phelps, Lochte, Connor Dwyer, and someone else. They clogged the toilet so bad that it started flooding into the hallway. That's fucking awesome. That is like, the men's Olympic team, the swimming relay team is just electric down in Rio. The whole Ryan Lochte story, Ian mentioned it earlier in his worst of the week. Kind of team Lochte on this. It's like, sorry, bro, sorry for partying. You know, he's the dumbest motherfucker on earth, by the way. Like, how did that story get from point A to point B? Like, he paid the guy. Like, pissing on a gas station door in Rio is an everyday thing. That's a Tuesday morning in Rio. You know what I mean, Ian?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that's the entire story, though. I think something else happened, and you're going to find out what happened in my bold prediction later on.
Okay, that's what they call
Touche.
that's what they call a teaser. So stay tuned for the end of the show. But I'm kind of Team Lochte on this one. He's a dick, and the only thing I'm not Team Lochte on is leaving his boys in Rio. Like, he just escaped and got out of the country. I'm pretty sure Ryan Lochte has no idea what's going on right now.
Did you see his interview with Matt Lauer yesterday?
I didn't. What'd he say?
He had no clue where he was at. It was like he was stoned out of his mind the entire time.
He is the single dumbest person on the face of this earth. Ryan Lochte, they apparently paid the gas station attendant, right? Like, they paid him. They said, hey, sorry we broke the door. That's it. It's over. No one finds out about it. There's no way those Rio guys know that. They probably know, like, oh, they're USA fans. They may be athletes. They don't know his name. There's no way. They don't know who he is. They don't give a fuck there. They got the money. They're going to fix it. And how did he get in the car and build this story up that he got robbed? Like, insane. How did he get out of Brazil, too? And he went through airport security with all the things he said he had robbed. Classic. He's a Mimbo. He's an absolute Mimbo. Ian?
Just bizarre. Just bizarre. Yeah. Like I said, in my worst of the week, if Chad LeClos wasn't such a douche, Ryan Lochte would have been the douche of these Olympics. Yeah. So you can thank LeClos on that one, Lochte.
Yeah, he is. He's an absolute douche, but like I said, pissing on a gas station door is a Tuesday morning in Rio. It's just par for the course. So, yeah, USA won the medal count as always. Finished with 121 medals. Next most was Great Britain, next most was China. I think maybe with 70. I don't know. All that matters is we won the medal count. I don't fucking care by how much we won it. When's the last time the USA lost the medal count? Dawn of time? I don't know. Yeah, so pretty fucking awesome by the USA in the Olympics. And the cool thing is we will not talk about swimming for 4 more years because nobody cares. But moving on, let's talk some Ohio sports. Let's talk about our Redlegs, who are playing lights out since the All-Star break, since the last time we talked to you guys, actually. They are, since the All-Star break, the Reds are 20-13. That's the second best record in baseball since then, behind only the Cubs, which is a great feat in itself. Also with the Reds, Joey Votto is on a fucking tear right now. Since the All-Star break, Votto is batting a ridiculous .447 with an on-base percentage of .548 and a slugging percentage of .693. He's not the only one that's on fire right now. Billy Hamilton's on a roll. Since the All-Star break, Billy Hamilton's batting over .300. He's batting .317, I do believe. He has a .394 on-base percentage and a .373 slugging percentage, which is crazy. He's doing most of this from the left side of the plate, which a lot of people were saying he should give up. We may have even said it on this show. A lot of people were saying he should give the left side of the plate up, just focus on right, but he has been knocking the shit out of the ball. It's also increased his steals because he's getting on base more. Billy's currently sitting at, after today's game, he's sitting at 53 stolen bases, which leads the league. He is the first player to have at least 50 stolen bases in 3 consecutive seasons since Michael Bourne did so in 2009 to 2011. Hamilton is also the first Reds player to accomplish the feat since Joe Morgan did it in 5 straight seasons from 1972 to 1976. Billy needs 31 more stolen bases to break the Reds' single-season franchise record of 81, which was set by Bob Bescher back in 1911. So Billy has 29 more games left in the season to break the 105-year-old record. We'll start there. Ian, do you think Billy will break the Bob Bescher's record, which was set in 1911?
If he continues this on-base streak he's got going, I think he's got an excellent chance of doing it. But like you said, he's hitting over 300 since the break. He's gotten his average up to 264 for the season, which is, a lot of people would scoff at that. But from where Billy started, that's terrific to where he's grown at now. with that batting average. So if he continues this rate of getting on base, I mean, he's stealing 3 bags a game when he gets on base. So, I mean, yeah, I don't see any reason why he could not break this record.
He's playing phenomenally. Alex, do you think Billy has what it takes to? Do you think he can beat that record?
I think he'll beat it. What do you think, Jared?
I think so. Like Ian said, it just depends on his on-base percentage. I don't know. I hope so, because fuck Bob Bescher. We didn't see him play. Fuck that guy. So I hope Billy does. I really do. Joey Votto, he's been lights out. And this is kind of Votto's thing. He gets hot after the All-Star break. I mean, Alex, what are your thoughts on Votto recently?
Votto, the dude's a machine. I mean, he shows no emotion. He's like the Terminator for us. I hope he keeps it up. I think he'll keep chugging along with Bruce gone. Focuses on him with his big bat. I think he keeps it up the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we predicted them to lose over 100 games coming into this season. If they continue on this pace, they will not hit that 100-game mark. Ian, do you think they have what it takes to not lose 100 games?
What are they at, 70 losses right now?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to hit those triple digits like we said. We based that off the rebuild and what they had. And, we're finally starting to see these guys, we're starting to see a fire from a lot of these young players, and they're playing really good baseball. Nobody wants to play the Reds right now. No first or second place team wants to play the Reds. They're going to be spoilers the rest of the season, and they're going to end up keeping some teams out of that wild card hunt. And just to say something about Votto, it almost kind of pisses me off because I think he toys with us. He had such a great spring, and then he came out in the first part of the season, he was an absolute dud. And I almost think he did that on purpose because when you watch that guy in the batter's box, like Alex said, he's a machine.
Hey, hold on. We had technical difficulties there. I'll just cut that part. We had technical difficulties there. Start from where you said, and another thing about Votto.
The whole thing?
Yeah, I didn't hear a word of it.
All right. The thing with Joey Votto is that I think that he just kind of toyed with us all year. He had an excellent spring, and then he comes into the first part of the year and just has a dud first half of the season. And everybody's on him and everything. And, Joey just being Joey, he's emotionless. He comes back out there after the All-Star break, and he's the best hitter in baseball right now by far. And I think he was just toying with us because when you see him in that batter's box, like Alex said, he's a machine. He's spraying the ball all over. He's hitting for more power right now than – he's really reminded me of what he looked like his entire MVP year when he won the MVP with his power. And right now there's nobody that comes close to him being the best hitter in baseball. He's just – I think he toyed with us, and, it's kind of disheartening that he did that. But I don't know. Did he do that to prove to himself that he could come out of this? Because, there for a while he was hitting like in the 230s. And now he's hitting like 313. It's ridiculous. He's the best hitter in baseball. This team's fun to watch right now, and they're going to cause a lot of problems for teams as the season's winding down for teams that's trying to make a playoff push.
I completely agree. Votto is unreal. He's not human, man. Like, you can't pitch to him because he has the best eye in baseball as well. So you have to put it in the strike zone with him, and he doesn't miss many pitches. And he can take balls opposite field. He can pull balls. He can put them in gaps. He's unreal. He's such a good hitter. His power has been outrageous this year for him. Just like you said, it's like back to his MVP season. The guy's unreal. We are so lucky to have him. I don't think Reds realize how lucky we actually are to have him in a Reds uniform and to watch him play. He's unreal. But moving on, let's stay in Cincinnati. Football's back. The Cincinnati Bengals are back. Mine and Alex's Cincinnati Bengals. So they lost their first preseason game. They lost to the Minnesota Vikings 17-16. They looked good in that game, but what the fuck ever. It's preseason. Second game, they won. This past Thursday, they beat the Lions 30-14. They look great. First team offense, first team defense both look phenomenal. Andy Dalton looked good on his couple possessions. He was 7 of 9 with 70 for 78 yards. McCarron looked really good again. He was 10 of 15 for 95 yards and a touchdown. Pretty much the same stat line he had in the first week against Minnesota. Jeremy Hill, who has surprised me, looks really good. He's bouncing through holes fast. He's got his pad level low. He had his touchdown this past week against the Lions. Rex Burkhead looks great. I love that kid. He's absolute grit, hard work. He's so good. I like him. He works hard for what he's got. So I really like Rex Burkhead. Tyler Boyd, that kid is special. He is going to be an absolute steal for the Bengals. I think he's going to pick up right where Marvin Jones left off. He is a great player. Really excited about Cody Core. I hope he makes the team. He's a big body receiver out of Ole Miss, 6th-round selection, so they got him really late. He's looked good in his 2 games. He's getting like 3 to 4 receptions a game for about 30-plus yards. He looks good. A.J. Green obviously looks good. Bengals' next game is at Jacksonville on Sunday Night Football, so that'll be pretty cool. May have to have that going next week while we're recording the podcast, by the way. But, yeah, the one thing with the Bengals has been tons of injuries. Since the last, like Alex mentioned in his worst of the week, since the last time we talked to you, their 1st-round draft pick, William Jackson III, tore his pectoralis, out for the season. Their 4th-round pick, Andrew Billings, tore his meniscus. He's out for the season. Jake Fisher sprained his ankle against the Lions. They got lucky there, dodged a bullet with that one, because Jake Fisher is going to see a lot of snaps this year. He's only got a sprained ankle, so hopefully 1 to 2 weeks he'll miss. Cedric Abui's out with a toe injury, which sucks because seems like he's going to start. Toe injuries are career killers for offensive linemen, so hopefully that kid can stay healthy. Tyler Kroft got hurt. He sprained his knee in practice, which sucks. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Eifert's still hurt. Brandon LaFell's hurt. It sucks. The Bengals are injured. Alex, what are your thoughts on this, man? How do you think – did you watch the preseason game against the Lions?
I didn't get to watch it, but I was listening to it on the radio because I was working. But I'm leaving that job anyway, so yeah, I was listening to the Bengals game at work. But, I mean, you pretty much summed it up for me. My only thing that I took away from it was so far we've scored in all aspects on the field, special teams, defense, offense. I mean, they're getting it done even though it is only preseason. I love being able to see or listen, read the next day, like how the team came together and, you know, from all areas of the game they're coming together and, you know, putting points on the board. And defense is following through and, you know, keeping the other team out.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. That defensive line is so good this year. Michael Johnson is playing like his 2013 self. If he plays that way this year, could match that with Carlos Dunlap and Geno Atkins. That line is unreal, dude. So, and then you get Vontaze Burfict back. Matthew Berry has the Bengals as his 3rd best defense, so that's pretty awesome. But yeah. Pretty excited about the Bengals. I'm ready for the regular season to start. I'm ready for preseason to be over with. I'm sick of all these injuries. I just want the season to get here. We only got 3 more weeks, so not too long. Now, staying in the NFL, I guess that's really all we got about the Bengals. Let's stay in the NFL. Let's move over to the Browns. I'm going to throw it to Ian because I know dick about the Browns. I've not watched a single game about the Browns. I know nothing that's going on. I know RG3 is your quarterback and Terrell Pryor is catching passes. So we are in a twilight zone when Terrell Pryor is the best wide receiver on the field. Ian, throwing it over to you for your Browns.
All right, well, the Browns right now they're standing at 0-2 through the first 2 games of the preseason, losing the first game to the Packers 17-11 and losing to the Falcons 24-13. RG3 was named the Week 1 starter right before that Packers game going into the preseason. Right now, as we head into our 3rd week of preseason games, RG3 is 10 of 16 for 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Josh McCown, 5 of 11 for 53 yards. And my boy, the rookie Cody Kessler, 4 of 5, 25 yards and a touchdown. Like you kind of alluded to earlier, Terrell Pryor, he's been terrific to watch. He just adds an explosive element to that offense. 3 receptions, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. He's only been playing maybe 2-3 series per game. That first game against the Packers, that was their first offensive play. RG3 threw it down the field, 50-yard reception to Terrell Pryor. And then Pryor had another 50-yard touchdown in that second game to the Falcons. Pryor is adding, like I said, an element to this offense. He's big, he's athletic, and he's shown that he's made that switch over to wide receiver with his hands. He's catching everything that's being thrown to him. The only problem right now in preseason is outside of Pryor, there's just really no big playmakers on offense, and that's okay. It's preseason, but the Browns are not putting together much offensively, and the first 2 weeks and the outcomes are showing that not only on the scoreboard, but they're getting killed in time of possession too. And one thing that has, been a bright spot is this defense through the first 2 games. They're looking great, the first and second units, and partially because Ray Horton is back running that defense. But the problem with the Browns defense year in and year out is they wear down, they get hurt, and that's because they're on the field 45 minutes a game. So until the Browns can manage the time better offensively, this defense is going to fall into the same battles, and it's going to be the same outcome week in and week out if they can't start doing more stuff offensively to keep the ball longer. Going back to talk about the defense, a couple rookies, Manuel Agba and Carl Nassib, they've been phenomenal to watch so far. Agba has been a machine off the end. Nassib's been playing opposite of him, and Nassib's been doing great. Rookie Derek Kindred, defensive back, got into the mix quite a bit against the Falcons. He tallied up 6 tackles against them. We're still without Josh Gordon. Still not in football shape is what they're saying. I think he's been smoking a little too much weed. His lung capacity's not there yet, but he's getting there. First round pick Corey Coleman. We've yet to see him play. We're hoping to see him play this week against the Bucs. He has all these great reports all week leading up to the game, and then like the last practice before the game, he ends up like stubbing his toes, so they hold him back. So that's kind of been a letdown. But if you're reading the stuff about the Browns and everything, they're saying Coleman is just Steve Smith reincarnated. And we see what Steve Smith's done throughout his career in the NFL. But with Terrell Pryor, if Josh Gordon gets back to his old self, and you've got a young guy in Corey Coleman, also Gary Barnidge as tight end, RG3 is going to have the guys to throw to. And another thing with offensively, the offensive line has actually looked pretty good the first 2 games. We lost Alex Mack and we lost Mitchell Schwartz, but second-year guy Cam Irving's moved into the center position. Pastor's moved into Schwartz's old position, and they've held the line pretty well for RG3. He's not getting hit a lot. It's exciting to see what can maybe come of this Browns team, but then again, it is preseason. It's Believeland. You just got to believe. But that's pretty much all that's been going on with the Browns so far.
I got to disagree with your take on Josh Gordon and smoking weed. You said his lung capacity is not there. I think it's vice versa. I think his lung capacity is even better than a normal person's because it's like training in altitude in Denver. So I think Josh Gordon's ready to go now if he wants to. I just think he's a little lazy, maybe from the munchies that's slowing him down. You never know. But I think the lung capacity is there. I think he's ready to go. As for anything else with the Browns, they've not been on TV for me, so I haven't been able to watch them, or else I would have. Is RG3 sliding, or is he still taking stupid-ass hits?
A little bit of both. There's some plays where you see him make a perfect slide, and you're like, all right, he's worked on it, and then you see him just dive and get hammered. So, I mean,
that's his one bugaboo. Like, he probably could have played 2 whole seasons more than he has if he wouldn't have taken stupid hits. And the hits he takes are like near the sideline too. He's stupid. He slows down. Speaking of next level stupid, RG3 is getting a divorce, and he got the girl that he was cheating on his wife with. He's got her name already tattooed on his arm. So things look to be going well there.
That's love.
That is love. That's 100% love. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any Browns games. Sucks. I'd like to watch them and see how they are this year. I'd like to see Terrell Pryor catching passes. It's bizarro world to me. But yeah, man, it sounds like I was real high on Ogba, by the way. I wanted him Cincinnati, so I want to keep an eye on him this year. But hopefully the Browns can get some wins and do better what most fans think they'll be like. But let's stay in Cleveland. Let's move to the NBA. Obviously, the Cleveland Cavs won the NBA championship this year. I think we were still doing the podcast when that happened. But the biggest news so far in the past couple of weeks, the Cavs were able to re-sign LeBron James. They re-signed him to a 3-year, $100 million deal. LeBron will make $31 million next season, which makes him the highest paid player in the NBA for the first time in his career, long overdue. He will make $33 million in 2017-2018, which is the highest single-season salary in the history of the NBA. I think it's deserved. Ian, do you think it's deserved?
Why not pay the best player on the planet the most money? Up until now, it was Mike
Best
Conley.
player on the planet? Is
Yep.
Michael Jordan still alive?
Current status.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought you wanted to leave MJ out. I don't know.
Nope, not all time. Just right now, current status.
Okay.
It's nice not having Mike Conley as the highest paid player in the NBA right now. So LeBron got
Yeah.
it. He was due that. He deserved it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. 3-time NBA champion, 4-time league MVP. I mean, he absolutely deserves it. So, some other news. There's been rumors the Cavs may trade for a big man. For those of you who don't follow the Cavs, really, they're one of their biggest. They got Chris Anderson, 6'10", but I mean he's old. Their best big man, tallest big man, Tristan Thompson's only 6'9". So, Ian, do you think they will pull the plug and trade for a big man?
I think they will. I keep reading, and I don't, in no way, shape, or form, would I do these trades that these analysts are proposing and saying that would go through. I don't know if they're just saying it because of money, but I keep reading DeMarcus Cousins, and I would welcome that with open arms. But I can't imagine a world where the Kings would give up DeMarcus Cousins for Kevin Love.
Well, it ultimately comes down to Cousins. He hated the way the Kings drafted. He was very public about that. He's been very public how frustrated he is with management out there. Cousins is kind of a loose cannon. He's my boy. I love him, but he's kind of a loose cannon. Kevin Love seems to be on the outs with the Cavs, so those contracts could both flip-flop. You could send one to each, and that trade would work, and there would obviously be draft picks and shit included. I've also seen Nerlens Noel. I've seen his name out there a lot. This is hard to say with the cold. Nerlens Noel, I've heard his name out there, and I've heard Iman Shumpert maybe on his way out. So a lot of trade scenarios right now for the Cavs, and they do need a dominant big man. If they get DeMarcus Cousins, holy shit.
It's unreal. It's over. It is over in the East. There's
The East
kind of already over. Yeah,
you could put a
it kinda is
YMCA
already
team
over.
and finish in 8th in the East.
Yeah.
could get-
Go ahead.
Yeah. The East is a fucking joke. The East is an absolute joke. The West is also becoming a joke now. It's becoming a monopoly. See, this is where Vince McMahon needs to take over in the NBA. If Vince McMahon's in the NBA, he's doing a live draft on air.
He is.
And Kevin Durant's going to Toronto or Milwaukee. Yeah, shit like that's happening. LeBron.
Stephanie will run the West, Shane will run the East, and they'll just have a live draft.
Yeah, the glass would shatter, and LeBron's going to Phoenix to play with the Suns. So shit like that. That's why Vince McMahon is the best. He should be running the NBA right now. Vince, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, you're a huge fan of the show. You should put your bid in to run the NBA because the shit's getting ridiculous. But let's move on. Let's go to the OSR mailbag segment. This is where we answer questions from you, the fans. So let me pull these questions up here. First question comes from Mr. Dave Boyer. He wants to know, who do you guys foresee as members 1 through 5 of next year's Reds starting rotation, and how soon do you think guys like Amir Garrett or Tyler Mahl may push their way into the equation? Ian, I'll let you handle this.
Dave, thanks for the question. 2017 Reds rotation, I think you go with Homer Bailey, Anthony DeSclafani, Brandon Finnegan. I think those three are locks. I think Robert Stevenson is going to be your number 4 or 5, and your other guy in that's going to be Tim Adelman. Dan Straley has done absolutely terrific. Whoever scouted and brought him to the Reds deserves a raise, but I think Straley basically came to the Reds this year, did well, and he's going to get a nice little chunk of change from another team and leave during free agency. The Reds are full of pitching prospects. Stevenson, we've heard about this kid since we drafted him. We've groomed him in the system just like we did with Cueto. He showed what he had in a short stint earlier in the season on the big league club. He has the ability to be flat-out dominant with how he paints the corners. And the fifth guy there, like I said, Tim Adelman, he's put together a few nice starts in Cincinnati, especially the other night, Friday night, when Lorenzen hit that home run. and he's done well. He's done very well in Louisville. Now, for guys like Amir Garrett, unfortunately, I think he's sitting behind Cody Reed, even though how bad of a season Cody Reed's had at the major league level, and Cody Reed's sitting behind Adelman. So, Garrett still has a little bit of time before I think he sees the show. But Garrett's big. He's an athletic southpaw, has 2 above-average pitches with his fastball and his slider. He still needs to refine his changeup. He has to have that third pitch to, I think, be a big league pitcher. I don't think we'll see him before he develops that changeup a little bit better. Now for Mahle, he's 21 and just now at IA Daytona. There's still time for this kid, but he looks fantastic. He's been just an absolute breath of fresh air for that Daytona club. He's a ground ball pitcher with excellent command, but I think it'll be a while before we see him, probably 4 to 5 years.
Dave, that's a great question, and I completely agree with everything that Ian just said, just to save time. But that's a great question, sir. We appreciate it. Moving on, Alex's questions for you and me. There's multiple questions here, and they're from Mr. Aaron Parrish, who just got married, so congratulations on that, Aaron. Alex, do you think the Bengals will be better or worse than last year?
I think we'll be the same, except for we come out with a playoff win this year, so I guess better.
That is better. I think regular season record will either be 12-4 or 11-5, so right around the same. I also think we win a playoff game. We actually win the Super Bowl this year. Second question, will we win a playoff game? We just answered that. Yes. Super Bowl, mark it down, buy your tickets now. What do you think the strengths and the weaknesses of the Bengals are this year, Alex?
Strengths, I think our depth got better this year. Even though we've had some injuries pull out, our rookies that we drafted, I still think depth, we got the talent. We're going to make it happen this year.
Okay. Weaknesses?
Weakness, injuries. I mean, we're already showing it. Injuries hurt us last year with Dalton going down right before the playoffs. If we stay healthy, we win it.
I 100% agree. Weaknesses are it's injuries for sure. It's unfortunate because it's part of the game. Every team goes through it, but it seems to be really hitting us hard right now. Our strengths, I'm going to say our offensive line is so loaded. Our defensive line actually is too. So I'm going to say both the offensive line and defensive lines, they're both so loaded. And Ian, this one's for you. Aaron seems to think the Browns will shock some people this year. He says they got Hugh Jackson, who he's high on, Corey Coleman, Gordon, Pryor, Barnage. They're all good weapons. He thinks RG3 will be good. He knows it's the Browns. That's a knock on the Browns. But what do you think? How do you think it'll be this year? Quickly.
The Browns have some exciting players, and they beefed up the coaching department, especially with bringing back Horton, like I mentioned earlier. They built through the draft, and they took guys who at one point had chips on their shoulder and proved all their doubters wrong. This team could be exciting to watch, and they've proven they're exciting to watch. A lot of new pieces. That's going to take time to mesh together. As a fan, I'm excited to see them play. Originally, when you and I went through the schedule several shows back, I said they'd only win one game. I think this is a 5 or 6 win club, and that's just because all the new pieces have to mesh together.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Next question from Mr. Dean Lanier. He wants to know, what do you think is behind the Reds' second half success, Ian?
I think you're getting all these young guys to play, and they're playing well, and they're getting behind Brian Price. I wish I would have ended up writing the blog. I talked to you about it earlier, like at the beginning of the Reds season. I said the Reds needed to extend Brian Price. They needed to get behind him. These players are playing well for Brian Price, and they're reacting well to him. There's a fire. These young guys want to win, and they're finally starting to mesh together, and this is the rebuild. You got to let it happen. You can't expect the World Series the first season, but they're starting to win, and it's everybody coming together.
I completely agree with that. Let's move on. Jake Parrish has a couple questions. First one, thoughts on bringing in a kicker to challenge Mike Nugent? Alex. Nugent has missed multiple field goals this preseason. I don't know if you've seen, but what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, any competition's good for the club or for the team. Nugent, he's been my boy. I've had him in fantasy for the past 3 years, but he has fucked me over with his misses. I know he missed a point after Friday, so let him compete. Let the best man win. We want to win. We don't want to settle for a playoff win. We want the Super Bowl. So if we have to get rid of the Nuge, I mean, if it helps us, I'm all for it.
I agree. I actually wrote my blog today, Jake. He said, "Are you concerned with Nugent?" I am concerned because this team is too good to be losing games at the foot of a kicker's error. They're too good. This is what separates teams like the Patriots. They've had Gostkowski. They had good kickers forever. So when you have a kicker that you know you can send out there after a team calls a timeout, trying to ice him, and he's clutch, he puts it right down the middle. That separates a good team from the team like the Bengals. They need a good kicker. Bring in someone for competition. Absolutely. If we have to cut Nugent, we have to cut him. He's just a fucking kicker at the end of the day. I know he's a Buckeye. I know he's from Ohio, but he's just a kicker. And this team needs to win games. They got to get over that hump. So I am concerned. I think they should bring in a challenge for Nugent. Jakes has another question. He's got multiple questions. So we love you, Jakes. Thanks for all the questions. Do you think Rex Burkhead deserves a more expanded role, Alex?
I believe so. He's a true athlete, and he's all over the place. Where do you play at? Nebraska? Is that where you play college?
I don't know. He played at a school definitely where it's blue collar. You had to pull up. You had to work every day because that's how he is. He's a blue collar player, hard worker. He's our Danny Woodhead. That's just how I look at it. So
Yeah.
I think he's a beast. I think I'd love to see him get a little bit of an expanded role and take some load off of Geo and guys like that. Just get him in there and let him play. So I do like him, Jake, and I would like to see him get an expanded role. Jake says, scenario. This is for both of you. Ian, I know you're not a Bengals fan, but still. You pick up the newspaper after the Bengals win the Super Bowl, or should I say a playoff win. What will the storyline read? Ian, you're not a Bengals fan, but I'm going to let you go first.
Ooh.
Let's do after a playoff win. Let's do that.
After a playoff win?
Yeah.
In Marvin we trust.
Ooh, that's a good one. Alex?
It's tough to top that one. I mean, it depends on how Dalton does. I feel like it'll have something to do with the Red Rifle, with him not fucking up somehow, them being a smartass with Dalton.
I think it'll be something punny. Obviously, the wait is over or something like that. The streak is over. Bengals get hump off their back, something monkey off their back, something like that. I don't know. If I wake up to that, it's going to be a good fucking day for me. Anything. It could say Jared's got a small dick or a piece of shit, and I'd be like, this is the best day ever. The Bengals just won a playoff game. So, yeah, man, I'm all in on that. So, I don't know, Jake, but it would be awesome. And final question, Jake's a UC guy. What is the confidence level, for those of you who may not know, UC is bidding to get into the Big 12. What is our confidence level, 1 out of 10 that UC lands in the Big 12? Alex, I'll let you go first. 1 out of 10. 1 being not confident at all, 10 being extremely confident.
I give them a 6. I mean, the past few years they've had solid teams. I mean, they've made runs. It's a 6. Optimistic with it.
Ian.
If they take 4 teams, it's a 10. Cincinnati will be in. If the Big 12 only takes 2 teams, I'm about a 5.
I think it's a 10 anyway. I think these UC fans worrying about it, it's crazy. They got a great football program, great basketball program, great academic school. It's in a great location. It's kind of away from the Big 12, but still, I would take UC in a heartbeat. I don't know why they're even second guessing it. So I'm gonna say 10. I think they for sure get in. So here we go. Next question from Ricky Barker. With cuts coming up, do you see any high-profile cuts from the Bengals? I'll answer this one. I think Marcus Hunt is for sure gone. I think 100% gone. Ricky wants to know if I think Alford will be gone. I don't. So, yeah, I think Marcus Hunt is gone. He hasn't progressed at all. So, yeah, Ricky, I think that's who gets cut. And final question, Mr. Will Cheserek wants to know, who have we been most impressed with so far in preseason? Me and Alex for the Bengals, and Ian for the Browns. I will let Alex go first. Who have you been most impressed with so far? One player for the Bengals.
Honestly, I got to listen to the game. I haven't got to watch, so I can't even choose.
Okay. Ian.
Mine's got to be rookie Carl Nass out of Penn State. You know, we know this guy's story. Walk on to Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. He had the trifecta against the Falcons. He rushed the quarterback. He sacked him, forced the fumble, and then picked up the fumble for the recovery. I think that's the last time you'll ever see him unguarded against an offensive line. Carl Nassib has been fantastic throughout the first 2 weeks of preseason.
Yep, my most impressive player for the Bengals has got to be Tyler Boyd. He's been so good for the Bengals so far. He's got a very small window right now of stuff that we've seen, but legends of the game, Chad Johnson. I mean, everybody's tweeting about this kid. He looks so good. Andy Dalton seems to trust him a lot. You got to remember this team's putting up points and they don't have Tyler Eifert right now. So once Eifert gets in there, that opens up Boyd more. He's a gamer. He looked good on punt returns. He's looked good on kick returns. He looks so good. So I'm going to say Tyler Boyd. Thank you to everyone who's sending questions this week. We had a lot of them, but it's our first show back in a long time, so we do appreciate that. But let's move on. Segment we do toward the end of the show, it's called What's Good. It's just something that we talk about, something good that's going on right now. It could be a book that we're reading, a video game we're playing, movie, TV show, anything. Just something, what's good in our lives. So, Alex, what's good, man?
What's good for me, I wish I had some with me right now. Braxton Brewing Company's IPA Crankshaft. It's right across the river in northern Kentucky. It's just a really good beer. It's a nice IPA. They also have a pretty good, I think it's a cream ale.
Yeah, it is. Those guys are awesome.
Storm.
Yeah,
Storm, I believe.
I know all those guys. They're all awesome, super cool people, and their stuff's really good, and they're the most down-to-earth people. So, yeah, man, that's awesome. Ian, what's good, man?
What's good for me, getting back into the workflow. I'm a teacher during the day, got my second graders back this year, and then at night, we're getting ready Wednesday night, starting back up. The YMCA Men's Basketball League, I get to run the scoreboard and watch all these NBA wannabes play, and it's absolutely fantastic because every one of them think that they're scouts, and just tons of cameras everywhere, guys filming shit, putting it on Twitter. You know, we're going to have a lot of NBA scouts there this year, so really excited to get that back going this Wednesday.
I think one time I should come in like a jumpsuit with like a clipboard and like a paper and pen and just take notes of everything and shake your hand and walk out afterwards. I think it would fuck with their mindset. I think
I would love for you to do that because some of these guys would just go nuts if they saw that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be in the cards. I think we're going to do that. We may film it and put it on the site. But what's good with me right now? Me and my fiance just finished the show on Netflix. Netflix original Stranger Things. If you have Netflix and you have not watched the show, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Alex, I know you're 3 episodes in, so I will not ruin it. Ian doesn't watch anything, so it is so freaking good. If you're a fan of sci-fi, even if you're not, you have to watch the show. It's so good. All the actors are so good. The music in the show's good. The writing of the show is phenomenal. It's just top to bottom so fucking good. Netflix raised the price of their service to $9.99, I think, instead of $7.99 or $8.99. I'm not sure. But if they keep making shows like this, they can take all my money because that show is so damn good. I actually want to start it over, Alex. I'm jealous that you're just in the middle of it. It's so fucking good. If you haven't watched it, Stranger Things, Netflix, do it now. That's the show. We usually end each show with a bold prediction, so we're going to do that now. Ian, your bold prediction for this upcoming week of sports.
This whole Ryan Lochte drama will come to a close as it'll be discovered. We know that the robbery was a hoax. We're going to find out that the pissing on the garage station door was a hoax. It was all to cover up Ryan Lochte's love affair with Manti Te'o's girlfriend.
That's like tabloid shit. Like that's, you know, when you're in Kroger or whatever and you see a tabloid, it's like woman has love affair with Bigfoot, and you're like, oh shit, that's crazy. That's you're a tabloid writer, Ian. That's crazy. Alex, bold prediction, sir.
Bold prediction. Keeping it with Netflix, I just read all over Facebook and all the news sites, Brendan Dassey from Making a Murderer is getting all charges dropped and he'll be out of jail. So my bold prediction is he will actually get to see all the WrestleManias that he missed. His mom has them all on VHS for him.
Oh, absolutely VHS. I've actually seen a Kickstarter got started to send Brendan Dassey to this year's WrestleMania. That would be electric, and that's got to be
I would donate to that.
Yeah, I would donate. Absolutely, that's got to be filmed if that happens. That's a whole other documentary on Netflix. If just Brendan Dassey's dumbass going to WrestleMania. But yeah, that's the show. It feels good to be back. Episode 16 of the Ohio Sports Radio Show. After a month off, we made our triumphant return. Feels damn good to be back. It was great talking sports with you guys. Thank you to everyone who sent in questions this week. If you have not done so already, check out our show on iTunes. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast. Rate it and review it. It really helps us out. You can also check out our podcast if you're an Android user on Stitcher and Google Play Music, so we do appreciate that. Check out our website, ohsportsradio.com. We're looking for new writers, so if you are interested in covering your favorite Ohio sports team, please send us some work to ohiosportsradio@gmail.com. We are looking for new writers, so thank you to everyone who continues to support us. Like us on Facebook, Ohio Sports Radio on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter @Ohio Sports Radio. We love you guys. We couldn't do it without you. Ian, Alex, thank you so much. It's really good to be back, and we will see you guys next week on the other side for episode number 17 of the Ohio Sports Radio Show.